We go back over 300 million years to the Carboniferous period, long before most dinosaurs even existed. It's here that prehistoric jungles started being the breeding grounds for some of the most terrifying animals to ever roam Earth. During this time, the air was made up of 35% oxygen. For comparison, we have around 21% today. So now you might ask yourself, what does more oxygen do to wildlife? In this case, it allowed large insects' respiratory systems to become more efficient, which helped them get bigger. But not just a little bigger. Meet Meganura, a giant dragonfly with a wingspan of up to 2.5 feet, one of the largest insects ever known to science. Meganura was approximately 1/4 the size of an average human being, roughly equal to the size of a large eagle. In other words, too big to be a bug. Kind of terrifying, right? These insects lived primarily in heavily wooded areas, such as jungles, and had no airborne competitors at the time, since most birds and flying reptiles didn't exist yet. They were carnivores and mainly ate insects, small amphibians and vertebrates. With their massive, highly evolved eyes, sharp teeth and spine-covered legs, it would have been a frightening sight for anything that crossed its path. Nobody was safe from these monsters, not even the fish that were underwater. The giant dragonfly lived in water as a larva, preying on fish and aquatic insects throughout its juvenile phase. Well, if you thought the giant dragonfly was terrifying, you're not ready for what's about to come next. A fossil found in 2018 turned out to be from an ancient distant millipede and centipede relative. This creature likely measured over 8.5 feet in length, 2 feet in width, and weighed around 110 pounds, making it the largest known invertebrate to have ever lived on land. Meet your new nightmare, the Arthropleura. Just imagine it was a millipede the size of a car. It lived in the same period as the dragonfly, and it is also hypothesized that its size originates from the high oxygen levels. Because of the small amount of fossils we have, scientists are not quite sure whether it was carnivorous or herbivorous. What we know is that it definitely had to have a nutrient-rich diet to keep its size. What do you think it ate? But massive insects weren't the only creatures lurking around in the prehistoric jungles. Fast forward to the Paleocene epoch, about 60 million years ago, and you find yourself in a world recovering from the dinosaur extinction. But don't get too comfortable. The Paleocene jungles were no less deadly. Imagine stepping into this lush green world and coming face to face with Titanoboa, the largest snake ever discovered. At over 42 feet long and weighing more than 2,000 pounds, this giant constrictor was as long as a school bus and weighed as much as a small rhino, although some think it might be even larger. Its method of hunting was brutally efficient, wrapping its massive body around its prey and squeezing until blood could no longer flow through the body, then swallowing it whole. Much like the modern anaconda, Titanoboa likely lived in rivers and swamps of deep jungles, where it could stealthily hunt its prey. Its diet probably included large crocodiles, turtles, and early mammals. Although Titanoboa and T-Rex never met, people often wonder who would win in a fight. If we were to pit these two giants against each other, it would be a battle of strength versus swiftness. T-Rex, with its massive and strong jaws, could crush Titanoboa if given the chance. However, if Titanoboa could quickly coil around the T-Rex, it might be able to constrict it. Who do you think would win? As if giant snakes weren't enough, the Paleocene jungles were also home to Forus racids, also known as terror birds. Their name already says it. With a head hooked like a pickaxe, this flightless bird stood up to 10 feet tall. Terror birds were comparable in size to bears and featured eagle-like beaks, along with knife-like claws on their feet. They sacrificed their flight ability for brutal, raw power, able to rapidly accelerate to 35 miles per hour. Any prey in its path had little chance of escape. They dominated the jungles and grasslands with brutal efficiency, ruling over what could be called the Age of Terror. A single peck from a terror bird could likely split open anything it wanted to, although their exact hunting methods remain partially speculative. Some theories suggest they either pecked their prey or grabbed and shook them violently. For larger prey, terror birds probably employed a combination of kicking, pecking, and using their massive beaks to grab and slam their victims into the ground. Their powerful feet, equipped with large claws, made it a tough match for any prey it encountered. These claws were even longer and more lethal than those of the cassowary, a modern bird known for its dangerous claws. With over 20 known species of terror birds, and likely many more yet to be discovered, these ancient predators were definitely a terrifying presence in their time. The following Eocene epoch was also the age of Andrewsarchus, a fearsome predator. This massive mammal had a skull nearly 3 feet long with powerful jaws and sharp teeth for crushing bones. Standing around 6 feet tall at the shoulders and stretching over 12 feet in length, it was one of the largest terrestrial mammalian carnivores ever. Its appearance, both wolf-like or pig-like, remains uncertain, but it was undeniably terrifying. Only one gigantic skull, 2.7 feet long and 1.8 feet wide, of Andrewsarchus has been found, leaving it unclear if it was an active predator or a large scavenger. The huge skull suggests it may have been twice the size of a grizzly bear. The fossil was discovered in a prehistoric coastal area, which tells us it may have eaten turtles. It might also have preyed on giant herbivorous mammals like the rhino-like Brontotherium. Some scientists even believe Andrewsarchus is closely related to whales due to their similar jaw structure, but that's a different topic for a whole other video. While today's jungles remain largely undiscovered, it is safe to say the prehistoric world, especially the jungle, was filled with terrifying and brutal giants. These forests were a testament to nature's unforgiving law. Only the strongest survive.